What is your one driving tip that if everyone followed, we'd all be better off? Story 1. Don't be polite, be predictable, meaning don't give up your right of way to wave someone out into traffic, or through an intersection, or into a roundabout. Make your stop, wait your turn, go when it's your turn. Answer. I went to a talk about automated car driving about a decade ago. The head research developer said throughout their presentation, mentioned that they didn't take turn sinus indicators on cars into account for their software model decision-making. After it was over, the number question asked repeatedly from the audience was, "It's crazy that you don't take indicators into decision-making. Please explain more about the decision." Essentially, their answer was, some people indicate, some don't. We did lots and lots of studies and driving, and after all the research, it turns out the number one way to figure out if a car is turning is if the car is actually turning. So they built their entire model around the idea that seeing what is happening is the best way to figure out what is happening, and use that to predict the car's response. So, yeah, act predictable, and you will be predictable. Everyone benefits. Story 2. When you're driving on public roads, you are not just responsible for you and those in your vehicle, but also everyone else you share the road with. Driving is dangerous, and we are so desensitized to the fact. Follow traffic laws and understand that you are responsible for everyone you share the road with. Story 3. The zipper merge. When two lanes have to form into one lane, construction, accident, both should fill up as close to the bottleneck as safety allows, then zipper into single lane at that point. One car from one lane, then the other lane. This is scientifically the most expedient method to merge. Answer. Did this the other day. Should really have merged a couple of cars further ahead, but as so few people know how to properly merge, I thought it would be safer to merge in front of the police van in the right-hand lane. Instead of letting me merge, he honked his horn, briefly turned his siren and lights on, and pushed past while gesticulating and shouting. He wasn't smart enough to lower his window, so no idea what he said. Naturally, he stayed in the right lane once it separated back into two, and got stuck behind someone turning right, so I just calmly passed him anyway. If the police don't know what they should be doing, I don't hold out much hope for most people. Edit. Should clarify this is UK, so the right-hand lane should just be for overtaking and turning right. Story 4. If you are about to miss a turn or an exit, let it go. Miss it. It is always the correct choice to take the next turn and loop back instead of cutting across multiple lanes at the last second. Never, ever worth it. Story 5. Don't tailgate, especially in the right lane. If you want to drive faster, get over on the left and fudge off. I absolutely despise people who tailgate in the right lane and refuse to get over on the left. Answer. Yes. I still remember the dickhead who was easily 3x my age, tailgating, honking, and flashing his headlights because I wouldn't move out of the way. This was in the right lane of a freeway with 3 other lanes to the left. No, there wasn't an exit coming and the lane wasn't about to end. He just had to stick up his jerk because he didn't like me going the speed limit. Could have saved both of us time and frustration by just going to the left and passing me like he should have, and finally did about a mile or so later, but no. This was over 35 years ago, so he may be pushing up daisies now, especially with the stress he caused himself. His headstone probably has, "If that meanie had just moved over, I'd have been happier," engraved on it. Story 6. Leave lots of fudge room. I know you tailgating fudge are here in this subreddit. You know how traffic starts? Chain reactions to braking. You know what makes it so there's no traffic? Everyone coasts to engine braking with distance as much as possible to match the speed and distance of the car in front and back of you. You aren't saving any time tailgating. Your little chute box can pass from 3 car lengths away just as well as it can from 3 inches away. Story 7. Be predictable. Get TF out of the left lane if a car is behind you, regardless of what the speed limit is and how fast you're going. Stop trying to constantly switch lanes to get ahead in traffic. You just make it worse. If you are one of the first couple cars at a light, pay attention and don't look at your phone. Nothing worse than a distracted driver not going when a light is green. Use your blinker for everything. Story 8. Driving is more than pointing your car and making it go. It's an active, rules-based activity. Pay attention to where the other cars are around you. Signal your intent. Never assume the other drivers are paying attention. Finally, don't be nice, be correct. This applies mostly for right-of-way. Sure, let cars in so everyone can zipper, but don't wave people through a 4-way stop to be nice. Go when it's your turn. Story 9. Try not to block anyone else's ability to make progress when possible. When the light turns green, proceed promptly but safely. If someone is tailgating, don't try to be the sheriff of the highway and create a hazardous situation for everyone around you. Don't change lanes in front of someone such that they need to brake. Don't proceed through an intersection if you can't get completely through before the light turns red. Don't creep up on pedestrians at crosswalks. They will be more hesitant and you will wait longer, etc. Story 10. Always signal turns and lane changes. Every time, before you turn. Turn signals should indicate intent, not action. In other words, turning on your turn signal after you have started to turn is ignorant and useless. Story 11. Being the best driver on public roads isn't about being the fastest. It's about how smooth and relaxed you are during the drive. Drive like you're a high-class chauffeur driving someone else's Rolls-Royce. Be smooth, calm, precise, and courteous. Story 12. Be an active driver. Don't overbrake because you weren't paying attention. Don't take a long time to resume speed when someone slows down in front of you. Leave enough space that when someone brakes in front of you, there's a buffer where you don't have to slam on the brakes. Don't go exceptionally slower or faster than those around you. Basically, just pay attention. Story 13. Use your signal well before completing your lane change or turn. If you brake and slow down to 5 mph, it's absolutely useless to put on your signal then. Use your signal 100 to 200 feet before the turn so the car behind you can get over or can expect to brake. Story 14. If every driver assumed that others might run red lights, not check their blind spots or brake suddenly, they'd stay more alert, keep safer following distances, and avoid many accidents. Defensive driving saves lives, yours and others. Story 15. Miss your turn and circle back. Don't stop in the middle of a travel lane because you need to get into the other lane. Follow the road and turn at a different light or U-turn and come back. Don't sit in the left turn lane until the straight lane light turns green because you need to go straight. Make the turn, then come back. Don't turn from a straight lane because you need to turn. Go straight, then come back. Don't reverse on a one-way road because you passed a parking spot and wanted to park there. Drive around the block and come back. You are breaking road laws and inconveniencing everyone around you. And if someone did it while you were driving, it'd probably piss you off, so why do it to others? Story 16. Get the hell off my jerk. Your reaction time isn't that fast. I hit a deer 2 hours into our 19-hour drive on vacation because of an idiot bumper clinger right behind me when we were the only two cars. If I braked to not hit the deer, him hitting the back off my car at 70 would have ended the trip. Instead, I touched the brake pedal and waited a moment for him to react and move over. Another inch of room and I would not have hit the deer. Would have been a complete non-event had he not been clinging to my bumper at 34 car length on an empty interstate highway. Story 17. Don't try and undertake or overtake on roundabouts. Just be patient and wait for the slower driver who has not decided what they're going to do, because they may cut into your lane. Too many videos end up on YouTube of crashes or near misses on roundabouts because someone is driving too slow and someone else is impatient. Story 18. Just follow the rules of the road. Stop means stop. If you're too scared to go the speed limit, at the very least, then maybe you shouldn't be driving. When taking my son to school, I would end up behind a woman that drives 25 in a 35. Made me insane. I had to change when we left the house to avoid her. Story 19. A tip that if everyone followed it, we'd all be better off. Know and obey the traffic laws. You wouldn't have people running red lights or stop signs using phones while driving tipsy, pulling out in front of traffic, turning across 4 lanes at once, going 25 mph faster than the rest of traffic, following 3. Behind you, driving full speed in heavy rain, snow, and every other dumbass thing you see on a daily basis. Wrecks would only happen due to equipment infrastructure failure. Car insurance companies and auto body shops would probably be reduced by about 95. Traffic would be reduced. Injuries, deaths, and lost productivity would be reduced, and probably 800 other things I can't even think of. Story 20. If you're going slow enough on the highway that I decide to overtake you, don't wake up to the fact that you're not going fast enough when you see me beside you and speed up. Use cruise control, specific to Germany. For the love of God, look before you jump into the left lane on the Autobahn. Some of us are going 250 kph or more, and jumping into the left lane in your Skoda Fabia is super dangerous. Expect someone to always be hauling the mail on the Autobahn-free zones. Story 21. Your car will naturally slow down if you let go of the gas pedal. You don't need to constantly brake for situations that only require you to coast along with no gas. Especially if you are going uphill. This is specifically for people in Pittsburgh, PA, and any other hilly cities. Story 22. Turn lanes exist for a reason. When you slow down, leave half of your car in the driving lane, you have single-handedly negated the entire point of having a turn lane in the first place. 1. Signal 2. All 4 wheels in the turn lane. 3. Brake. 4. Turn when clear. Story 23. As a tractor-trailer driver, it'd say, leave more space between your vehicle and the car in front of you. You can't control what everyone else does, but you can increase your margins in terms of rear-ending, being rear-ended from behind. You own the space around your vehicle. Why not stop 2 or 3 vehicle lengths from the person in front of you? Story 24. Increase following distance, especially on highways. Not only is it safer, so many people follow too closely, but then there is less sudden braking for things like lane changes and merges. It is more gradual and smooth for cars to move around. This reducing traffic because sudden stopping always has a big rippling effect that can only go away if there are fewer cars coming into the slowdown than leaving it. Story 25. If you're driving under the speed limit, just let the person behind you pass. We're not challenging you, we just want to get home in a timely manner, or to wherever we're going. Don't speed up when someone tries to pass you, you're gonna get people eliminate. There was a woman who was apparently on a similar schedule to mine for a while, and I would come up behind her when she was doing 40, 45, and a 55. Every time she'd wait till we got to a passing zone, then slow down even more, just take her foot off the gas, no crazy braking, so I could get around her easily. Dunno who she was, but I may be in love with her. It was such a decent move. Story 26. Drive without G-force. If you flop back when you accelerate, you're doing it too aggressively. If you flop forward when you brake, you're doing it too aggressively or don't have a safe braking distance. If you lean side to side when cornering, you're doing it too aggressively. Nearly all accidents, aside from mechanical failure and acts of gods, can be massively mitigated via no G-force practice. This comes into consideration during changes in speed or direction, which is what all driving entails. Simple physics, beginner-level physics. Story 27. Stop weaving. You're not going to get there faster by cutting everyone else off. Pick a lane, stay in it, and only leave it if it's ending or there is a legitimate reason, like someone is driving well below the speed limit. Oh, and no speeding. Story 28. Old school, I'll admit, but drive a car with a manual transmission. It keeps you more connected to and in touch with your car, what it's doing, how it's feeling, the road, etc. It also helps to keep you in the mindset that you are driving. It's also a lot more fun. Also adopt that mindset that when you're driving, you are driving. Don't let yourself space out. Don't mess with the radio unless you can still keep your eyes and attention on the road. Stay the fudge off your phone. You are driving. You're driving a potential weapon that could eliminate someone or more. Story 29. If you're not actively passing, get out of the left lane. I don't get a lot of road rage, but when I do, 80 of the time, it's because someone barely doing the limit has decided it's their civic duty to correct the speeding habits of everyone in the passing lane behind them, or they wanted to get out ahead of someone and somehow didn't realize they were gonna have to make the metal monster go vroom louder to do it, and take 2 full minutes to get TF out of the way. Slow drivers cause more accidents than fast ones by encouraging people to do stupid shoot trying to get around them. I could care less if you want to drive slow, just do it in the right frickin' lane. Story 30. Pay more attention and don't drive too tired. Your attention should be focused on driving the practically papier-mâché machine you're operating at dangerous speeds. And if your head is literally bobbing and you can't keep your eyes open because you're tired, it's the same as driving tipsy, and we all know you're not supposed to do that. Story 31. Be considerate with your headlights. Don't get behind someone and turn on your bright demon headlights that light up the other vehicle like a Christmas tree. It blinds the other drivers and can cause an accident. Story 32. Get the right setup ball position. Position the ball just inside your front foot. Tee height. Tee it so half the ball sits above the crown of your driver. Stance. Use a wide stance for balance and power, with slightly more weight on your trail foot. 2. Grip and relaxation. Neutral. Grip. Avoid an overly strong or weak grip. Stay loose. Tension. Eliminate speed. Relaxed hands and arms promote fluid motion. 3. Use your hips and core. Initiate your downswing with your hips to generate power and consistency. 4. Swing through, not at the ball. Focus on a full balanced finish to encourage proper acceleration through the ball. 5. Launch angle and spin. Optimize for a high launch and low spin. Consider a driver fitting to match shaft flex, loft, and face angle to your swing. 6. Practice. Smooth tempo often leads to better contact than swinging at full power. Think. 3-to-1 ratio, backswing to downswing. 7. Pick a small target. Aim for a specific point in the fairway to improve focus and alignment. 8. Pre-shot routine. Develop a consistent routine to calm nerves and build confidence. 9. Check your alignment. Many poor drives stem from misalignment rather than swing faults. Use alignment sticks or check feet, hips, and shoulders. 10. Practice with purpose. Don't just hit balls at the range, simulate course situations, and work on both technique and mental game. Story 33. Let drivers merge in merge areas. Blocking them isn't going to help you get to your destination any faster when it's bumper-to-bumper rush hour. Conversely, don't jump from traffic into the merge lane to get ahead of 2 to 3 cars, thinking you're going to get to your destination that much faster. Story 34. You should always turn into the lane closest to you. This means that if you are turning right, you should turn into the rightmost lane, and if you are turning left, you should turn into the leftmost lane. This rule applies to both right and left turns and helps ensure the safety of all drivers on the road. Story 35. Your safety on the road is 90 your responsibility, 10 others. That means other people's safety is 90 on them and 10 on you. People screw up. So do you. Be on the lookout so you can cover for someone else's screw-ups, and hopefully they'll do the same for you. Never, ever forget the 10. And don't get meanie when someone makes a mistake and you have to mitigate it. You probably screw up regularly and don't even notice because someone else made space, lifted off the gas, touched their brakes, or swerved just a little to keep you safe. Story 36. Walk more. Don't get your car out for every little journey. If you can't bear the idea of a 2-mile walk, get a bike or take the bus. Traffic taking up space on the roads makes urban driving and bus journeys a nightmare. Get all the short journey cars off the road, and the journeys that actually need to be by road will be much improved. Story 37. In bumper-to-bumper traffic, leave lots of room, and don't tap, tap, tap your brakes. I often coast in drive more often than braking hard constantly. Do not drive if tired. I don't know what the stats are, but tired driving is up there with driving while obliterated. Story 38. Use lane discipline. Unless you're actually overtaking, pull over. Nothing gets people angrier on a UK motorway than someone cruising down the second lane with nothing on the inside lane, then someone overtaking them really slowly in the third lane, and now the whole motorway is blocked by just 2 cars. Story 39. Follow the darn traffic regulations. Right of way, speed, not obstructing traffic, working lights, safe following distance, proper merging procedure. If people just followed the laws, driving would be 10x safer, lower insurance, and less frustrating. Story 40. Drive defensively. Act as though every car is actively trying to crash into you and break traffic laws. Maybe it's slower and more mentally taxing, but assuming everyone is alert, intelligent, and obeying traffic laws can get you eliminated. Story 41. If you aren't passing, get out of the left lane. It's not difficult to make more lane changes, and you're most certainly not moving faster than everyone else. And to add to this, use your signal. It truly makes no sense not to. Story 42. Left lane is for passing only. Proven fact, people cruising in the left lane cause more accidents than people going more than 10 over the speed limit. It's not your job to slow down traffic. Get the fudge out of the way so people don't have to weave through traffic to get around you. Story 43. I have a few clears throat. You see the sign telling you to merge lane is ending, get ETF over. Stop assuming you can ride your jerk down, skip to the front and just assume somewhere will let you in. Not everyone will be generous enough to let you in. There are assholes on the road who exist and most likely saw what you tried to do and will make you wait, including me. Stop thinking you are capable of multitasking. Get off the goddamn phone. And get TF out of the way. The speed limit is 30 and you're doing 20 just to send a F-king text. Mess G. Learn how to switch lanes. There's no reason why your car should come to a complete stop, hitting the brake with cars behind you, just so you can switch a lane. Learn to change lanes smoothly and stop waiting till the last minute to change the lane. You knew your exit or turn was coming. GPS told you when you should be getting over a mile ago. And for the love of all that is holy, please stop getting over from behind a slow car just to go as equally as slow, especially if it's the fast lane. Move your jerk. You deserve the electric chair. Story 44. Don't assume red lights mean everyone stops. Always hesitate and make sure nobody is flying down the road. Look both ways always, even when the light turns green. Assume each car on a side street that is waiting to pull out is going to do it. Keep an eye on every single side street. Story 45. Never ever drive along on a 4-lane highway beside someone. 2 reasons. 1, that person may change lanes. 2, if something happens, you have no escape route. A dog runs out in front of either of you, your options are hit the dog or the other car. One of the first rules of defense is driving. Story 46. Don't cut off large vehicles, trucks, buses, etc. Give them ample space both when merging in front of them and when they are trying to merge. 90 of the drivers of these vehicles are not only under heavy oversight on max speeds and GPS-regulated driving habits, but also, you don't want to be on the receiving end of being hit or hitting one, because the large vehicles will win the battle every time versus normal commuter cars. Give them space and drive mindfully with them. Story 47. Following distance. I drove semis for 25 years, over 3 million safe miles. Not one accident on the roads because I always kept plenty of following distance. If everyone practiced safe following distance rules, accidents would fall dramatically and fatalities would almost disappear. Story 48. Pick 1. Fudge zipper. Stop trying to pass everyone when traffic comes to a near stop. You aren't going anywhere faster. All you are doing is fudge everyone else over. Move left to let the on-ramp on the highway, especially if you don't know how to zipper. Stop passing on the fudge right. Get the fudge out of the left lane if someone is behind you. Semi-trucks will fudge you up. They are not a spawn point to pass by any means necessary. Fudge your feelings. Don't drive with emotion. And already said by the most true, be predictable. You will never know how much this will save your life. Story 49. Stop cutting off big trucks. Our air brakes take half a second to build pressure and start the braking process. Cutting is off a big truck, and braking right after is very dangerous for people in cars. Story 50. If I'm leaving a gap, it's not for you to jump in it without signaling. I don't leave an excessive gap and am always aware of and amenable to someone wanting to move into my lane. I just can't stand it when someone assumes the gap. Leaving is theirs for the taking. Story 51. Turn signals, turning indicators, blinkers, directional strobe lights, whatever you want to call them, use them. This car is suddenly going slow. I'll just pass. Car suddenly turns left, never touching the brakes. Story 52. The only one I haven't seen yet. If you are making a left turn and are in a normal-sized vehicle, do not swerve into the lane to your right in order to make the turn wider. I see this way too often from vehicles who do not need to do that. The turning radius is perfectly manageable as it is. If there is a need to do this, wait until the lane to the right of you is clear or consider a different route. Story 53. Get up to the speed limit before you try to merge onto the highway. It's 70 mph on the highway here in town, and so many people do not speed up on the on-ramp to merge. The worst this year was trying to get on the highway at 40 while people are zooming past at least 30 out faster. There's a reason there's wrecks and bad traffic on the highway all the time. Story 54. Came here to say this. You're impeding traffic and I have to figure out your intentions. Also use a turn signal always. I'll accept letting people out of drive through parking lots and stuff during a red light. Oh, and fudge, turn into the correct lane. Story 55. The worst accident I was ever involved in when I was younger happened because someone gave me a friendly wave to take a left in front of him in a pouring rainstorm. I did not see the fast-moving vehicle without its headlights on, coming up behind and passing him on the right. Lesson learned then, do not trust that because you are being waved over that it's safe to do so. Story 56. Ugh, yes. One thing I taught my teen while driving. Around here, old men will try to out-polite each other to let young girls go first. It's maddening. Follow the rules and avoid eye contact with those dudes. Story 57. I dislike how often people who are stopped at a light end up waving someone leaving a parking lot through who wants to cross to the other lane direction. Sure, you might be stopped, but traffic on the other side isn't. I've seen so many accidents because of this. Story 58. This. Predictability. Obey the rules. Don't be polite. Use the goddamn indicator blinker before turning lane changing and have it indicate the proper direction. Controversial bonus. Don't back into parking spaces if you've got a load of cars behind you. Pull front in like a predictable adult. Story 59. I went to a talk about automated car driving about a decade ago. The head research developer said throughout their presentation mentioned that they didn't take turn signage indicators on cars into account for their software model decision-making. After it was over, the number question asked repeatedly from the audience was, "It's crazy that you don't take indicators into decision-making. Please explain more about the decision." Essentially, their answer was, some people indicate, some don't. We did lots and lots of studies and driving, and after all the research, it turns out the number one way to figure out if a car is turning is if the car is actually turning. So they built their entire model around the idea that seeing what is happening is the best way to figure out what is happening and use that to predict the car's response. So, yeah, act predictable, and you will be predictable. Everyone benefits. Story 60. Defensive driving course taught me to always leave 3 seconds of space. Add one for every hazardous condition like rain, construction zone, or elderly drivers who typically have longer reaction times and larger blind spots. Story 61. I actually complained to my local PD about people following too close. Heard back from the patrol commander that tickets for following too close tend to get thrown out unless there was a crash. Apparently, the judges say it's not too close unless something happens. Fudge, ridiculous. Answer: it's not up to the police to determine what is or isn't acceptable to the judge. Literally, it is a data point they should not even consider, and it leads to all sorts of problems. Like a lot of cities are overrun with petty property crime because the police do not enforce those laws. Why do they not enforce those laws? Because they believe the judges and courts do not support their efforts. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. They get to slack off and not do the work they were hired to do, and then they get to blame it on someone else. And now there is no feedback loop in place to reverse their opinion. And then they will try to use the increase in crime to claim that they just need to hire more cops. Such a dirty bullshit tactic. Story 62. This is also how to curtail traffic. If everyone gives more space in a slowdown, it allows for people to navigate around whatever is causing the jam, i.e., let people lane change in front of you. It's healthy for the flow of traffic. Also, the space then allows cars to speed up again as it clears. Story 63. Our VW has that adaptive cruise that keeps distance between you and the car in front. It's really given me a good perspective on what a safe following distance is at different speeds. My Chevy truck doesn't have that, but I follow the same distances now. Tailgating is just so stupid, especially in cities where you aren't going to save even 5 minutes by being a jerk.